Hello, and welcome to Reviving Discourse, episode 9. Today is December 18th, 2019, and we're jumping right into it. After I change the title of the Twitch stream. Alex,
Oh,
play me some filler, Alex.
play me some filler. Impeach is president.
Peace is
What?
president. Is
Did
that what
anyone
you
else
just said?
hear that? That was weird. Yeah. Speaking of which, isn't it weird how we're having a lot of trouble impeaching the president?
But he's committed a million crimes. Shouldn't he have already been impeached forever?
That's a fair point. Don.
All the
I
crimes that he's
appreciate
committed.
that. So when you say crimes specifically, which ones are you referring to?
All of
Because
them.
there's a lot of people that tend to believe that he's actually committed a lot more crimes than he has, I think, and that he's lied a lot more than he has, I think. And you're actually the one that showed me that a long time ago.
Was there a question in that? What crime specifically?
Yeah.
Well, the facetious answer is all of them. The real answer is probably some small technicality that I don't know about because I'm not a lawyer.
Oh, so you think that it's all just technical nonsense?
Yeah, absolutely.
That just despite his best efforts to drain the swamp, the political mess that exists has just come up with a bunch of nonsense in order to try to get what they want.
Yes,
On purpose.
100%.
You don't think that anyone believes in their heart of hearts that there might be a reason to get rid of the person who's running our country right now? Like, is there one honest one?
I don't believe there exists a person like that in the legislature now. Legislative branch.
Okay.
Congress, I should say.
So, in terms of crimes, off the top of my head, I can't actually think of any specifically. I think that a lot more of the problem that people have with the president is the way that his behavior looks and comes off is that he's behaving in a criminal way. For example, the Mueller report, remember when that came out?
Yes.
The most important thing in the Mueller report was very rarely talked about on the news, and it was on the very front page. It might have been the first sentence, if I'm remembering correctly. It said that without a doubt, his investigation concluded that Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
Yeah.
For sure. It was a planned, orchestrated attack by the Russian government to meet some ends. It wasn't very clear about that. Although the things that they did seemed to point to them supporting Trump as opposed to Hillary winning the election.
Okay.
For example, the first thing that they did, just to make sure we're all on the same page, was they released a bunch of troll robots on social media to purposely inflame people and distort the political discussion to the point where it's hard to tell what's true and what isn't, which is a common thing that they do called disinformatia. I've probably already talked about this on the podcast. The second thing that they did was hack into a server and release a bunch of hidden emails that Hillary Clinton had taken part in or participated in conversations with people that was not on the up and up. You aren't supposed to have your own secret server for communication,
right,
in any political office. So that Correct. was pretty damning.
Did an oopsie goof?
Yeah, that was a hell of an oopsie goof. So those two things seem to point to the fact that that Trump was the choice for the Russians for whatever reason to win the election. But the point being is the way that Trump behaved about this. He went on live TV and asked Russia to turn up the other 30,000 emails. You know what I mean? He didn't put his tie on and say, "Oh, well, this is a very great threat to our country. I'm going to look into it." He didn't even lie. He just said, "Yeah, I'm cool with that." It's like he found out that someone was cheating for him and he was like, "Heck yeah, do it more, please." Which could be, I don't know. That seems really comparable to the Ukraine situation. And that leads me to believe that there's enough of a precedent for this to get rid of this president.
Hasn't it already been decided that he cannot be charged for quid pro quo?
You mean out of the three things? Yeah, absolutely. The one that they cannot get him on at all is someone here. they got him essentially on abuse of power, they think, and they got him on obstruction of Congress, but they definitely didn't get him on. Let's see.
So, yeah, let me ask you a question. Do you know what impeachment is?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't. Enlighten me.
So, impeachment, a lot of people get this misunderstanding that impeachment, it means taken out of office, or even some people like myself, up to a few days ago, impeachment means takes away your political power but leaves you in office. Impeachment does not mean either of those things. Do you know what indicting someone means? Have you ever watched Law and Order and seen the district attorney indict someone for a crime?
Is that like when you summon them, or is that a subpoena?
No, that's a subpoena. In an indictment is when you officially charge someone with a crime. So, like, if they wanted to indict the owner of Amazon for human trafficking, they would have to go in front of a grand jury and get, I believe it's 3 or a third of those grand jury, at least, I could be totally wrong, needs to say that, yes, this person committed a crime, charge them, and then they get arrested after that point. Impeachment is the same thing. It's just you're officially charging someone with a crime. So that's what they're working on. They're trying very hard to figure out if he broke a law, so that they could officially charge him.
Well, isn't there something about high crimes and misdemeanors?
Yeah, that's what
being different.
That's what got Clinton impeached.
Yeah, that's a little bit different than committing a crime, right?
High crimes is different. I mean,
and misdemeanors.
I think maybe presidents are held to a different standard than a normal United States citizen. So I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Oh, obstruction of justice, when he tried to disrupt the investigation into himself by firing James Comey.
Hello, Romwind. Welcome
or
to the
removing
stream.
him from office. Romwind, what's up?
So
good to see you.
Him firing Comey counted as obstruction of justice?
They thought so. I think that one actually didn't stick for whatever reason.
What's up, Piston Jack? Always good to see the Super Meat Boy thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream, everyone. We're talking impeachment, y'all. Get ready.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Alex. Now that we know what impeachment is,
yeah,
do you think that the president of the United States should be impeached? Do you think he should be charged with a crime that could lead to his removal from office and potential criminal charges filed against him?
Yes.
You think so?
I do. I think so.
Okay. So give me one. Okay, here, let's start with this. Give me one thing you think he did that was against either the law or one of the things that he could have done that should be impeached for. Start with that, and then I got a follow-up for you.
Okay, this one's kind of a loop-de-loop sort of crime. I'm going to give you the easy softball pitch first here.
Okay.
When Congress said they were going to investigate him for impeachment, the impeachment proceedings, Trump flat out refused to cooperate with their requests, which is unprecedented in history. And that could actually be obstruction of Congress, which is one of the things they're trying to make stick so they can get him out of there. He kind of fell for the trap. I think there's a lot of times Trump does this to himself, where they try to make him cooperate and he refuses out of some sense of pride. And then that is the crime itself.
What did he not? Do you have anything specific that he didn't cooperate with?
He refused to release documents that they requested. Let me take a look for some.
Okay. He refused to release documents. These obviously weren't public documents. Do you know what kind of documents they were?
Here, let me take a look. I should create articles in the Constitution. rejected the authority of Congress to conduct oversight of his actions, directly challenging the authority of the House to conduct an impeachment inquiry into his actions regarding Ukraine. Democrats compare him unfavorably to Nixon, who, despite infamously refusing to hand over tapes from the White House's secret recording system, instructed his staff to cooperate voluntarily with the impeachment inquiry that ultimately led to his resignation.
So he didn't.
Oh, here we go. Sorry.
So this sounds more like, he didn't cooperate with them, and they're saying, "Come on, President Trump, if you didn't do anything wrong, you have nothing to hide." Oh, that sounds a lot like that to me, and that's sour in my tummy.
Well, okay. So if we see, all we know is what do we know for sure actually happened? We know we have the transcript, right?
Of the Ukrainian transcript.
Yeah. So we know for sure that there was a conversation between the president of the United States and a foreign power to benefit the president of the United States in some capacity. Is that accepted in this day and age? Can we at least agree that for?
Would the investigation into this that would definitely benefit the president of the United States in the upcoming election. I will say that, yes.
Okay, so we know for sure that he's gaining benefits by communicating with this foreign power. Now, if he were to do certain things after he made that request that indicated that he would not be cooperating with them in the same capacity if they didn't fulfill his request,
that would be a quid pro quo. Yes,
that would be a bad thing. So but all we have is the transcript, right?
Right.
So the only thing we can do is try to investigate more. Although I do disagree with the way the Democrats did that, because this is interesting. In the Atlantic, this article I'm reading, it says they made a decision to largely abandon attempts to compel the production of documents and witnesses from the administration through courts. Instead, they simply responded to each ignored subpoena by warning Trump and his aides that refusal could be grounds for obstruction. You see what they did there?
So they just said, "Hey, do this. Hey, if you don't do this, it might be obstruction," and then they just ghosted. That's really funny. So they were more so trying. It sounds like they were just trying to get him on an obstruction charge rather than actually get the subpoenas to go through.
Yeah, which, I mean, if you think about it, knowing his track record of his behavior, in a way, that makes a lot more sense, right? Because if you can get your foot in the door with him being bullheaded and asinine, then you can mine your way to the actual truth and figure out what's going on. I assume that some people actually want to do that. They don't want to just get rid of him because they don't like him.
I think that a total of 0 people in the House of Representatives want that. I think that all of the people voting for impeachment in the House of Representatives are people who don't want him to win the next election, and that's the only reason.
Man, I wish we could have listened to some of the stuff that they were saying during those impeachment proceedings together, because there was a lot of really heartfelt people, I think, that were talking.
I haven't seen any of it, so I guess you have the advantage here. So do you have any?
Well, I can't think of any really good examples.
None.
Except
but
that
you could feel that some of them were really, really heartfelt, though.
Yeah, I really did, because there was people that died as a result of whatever happened. Because if I'm understanding this correctly, and this is the frustrating part.
Alex, we have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Upon impeachment, can a sitting president still run for the next election? Yes. We talked about this a little bit, I think, before you showed up. Impeachment does not actually mean removal from office. All impeachment is you are indicted for a presidential crime, or not necessarily presidential, because you can impeach anybody from office, but it just means you committed an act that is warrant enough to investigate and actually charge you with a crime. Impeachment is pretty much synonymous with indictment, if you know what that means. It means if you ever see someone like break into somebody's, the police break into someone's house and then arrest people, it's because that the person they're arresting has been indicted, so now they're going out to arrest them. So that just means after that point, after he's impeached, he could be put onto a presidential trial.
Which, if you think about it, is why my next point, whether I think it's good to impeach him or not in a moral sense, is kind of irrelevant, because him being able to just run again after you impeach him might not be the best decision. And also, flailing about, desperately searching for a reason to impeach him might not make your party look as appealing to voters.
They've been doing that for 4 darned years, Alex. 4 years.
This is what really pisses me off about that, is that they had a chance with the Russia situation to actually act on this. And for whatever reason, in our social consciousness as a country, we just forgot and accepted, like, oh, well, that's in the past now. It's like no one even remembers that there was an orchestrated attack on us by a foreign government, which resulted in an election being won by who they wanted to win.
Sure. They can't pin that on the president, though.
Right, but the way that he behaved as when he found out about it. I'm doing it now. So assuming that the president had no idea that this was happening, and that all of the meetings that he set up with these Russian intelligence agents or whatever were were just him. He thought it was just a good social party. And then when he found out that they were actually working to get him elected, he didn't shut them down. He encouraged them to do it more publicly in the spotlight, which I think warrants a misdemeanor. They're just putting them on.
That's a Family Guy joke. So the thing about the whole collusion with Russia thing is that the president never had anything to do with it whatsoever. Maybe other countries wanted to meddle in the election, but it wasn't the president who had any sort of knowledge of it or had any hand in it whatsoever. So what you're saying is that he should have condemned it more? Because I think he was all about condemning it before he got elected. I think he was one of the first to say that there was foreign meddling in the election and it needed to be looked into.
Why did he stand with Putin on a stage and condemn the Federal Bureau of Investigation and say that their searches were not warranted? And then later tweet that he meant to say the opposite.
Is that true? Can I?
Yes. Do you remember any of this? Does anybody remember this stuff? It's really frustrating.
Can you give me some of that? Give me that link.
Okay, so look up Trump Putin soccer ball.
Putin soccer ball?
I'm not joking. You can't make it up.
Putin soccer ball for Trump had transmitter chip. What I'm getting. That's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's the first 11 results.
Okay, hold on.
12, 13. What? This is ridiculous. He gave him a freaking wire. Amazing.
Helsinki summit. That's what it was.
Helsinki.
At the Helsinki summit, Vladimir Putin basically said that there was nothing. Hold on.
This was last year in 2018. I think in July. So what are you saying about what did he do?
He questioned U.S. intelligence vocally with the person who was accused of committing the crime right in front of him. Hold on a second. I'm trying to look it up. Keep talking.
Okay. So, if you really think that what I'm about to say is anything other than just filler, then you are incredibly mistaken because I have no points to talk about while you're looking up this information, unfortunately. However, I can filibuster incredibly long because I am very eloquent and very well-read about pretty much everything. I have the best books, and people always tell me that I'm incredibly fast on my feet. So I'm pretty much the best person in the world. I should be president. Can I stop filibustering now?
Yeah, that was good.
Oh God, here he goes.
So I'm trying to find where the actual thing that I mentioned was. He said he essentially
said, what did he say? Look how low my glasses are.
He essentially said that he found Putin's denials of being involved in the election strong and powerful, and vocalized that his own intelligence community was at fault and in the wrong when they told him that Russia had meddled, because people were asking questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And someone asked, so how do you square the fact that your intelligence community told you that he meddled in your election? And he said, well, I think maybe they were wrong. And then on Twitter, everyone, of course, freaked out. Even Republicans were mad about it. And then later on Twitter, he said, I meant to say maybe they were not wrong, guys. And the fact that I can't find that immediately leads me to believe that we are under supervision by the big brother.
You think the big government has censored the internet?
Exactly.
No. No matter how big of a power you are, you cannot scrub the internet. This doesn't work. It's too many places to scrub. Once it's on the internet, it's there forever. Unless nobody cares about it enough. Then it will disappear. But something like that, I bet a lot of people would care a lot about, though. China comes to mind. China. What about China? About scrubbing. Oh, well, I mean, they're a bit different because they control the internet before it becomes the internet. So they control what you put on the internet. Once it's on there, though, it can't be. They could stop you from looking at it and then shoot you if you do it anyway. Sure. But that's kind of besides the point. What I'm trying to say.
Here we go. So, amid bipartisan condemnation of his embrace of a longtime U.S. enemy, Trump sought to end 27 hours of recrimination by delivering a rare admission of error on Tuesday.
Oh.
This is a long time. He backed away from his public undermining of American intelligence agencies, saying he misspoke when he said he saw no reason to believe Russia had interfered in the 2016 election. Quote, the sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't, or why it wouldn't be Russia, instead of why it would be, Trump said Tuesday. Of the comments he made standing alongside Putin on the summit stage in Helsinki.
So are we holding him accountable for misspeaking?
You believe
you don't think he misspoke? You think that was his honest opinion?
When has he ever done that before, Donald?
Ever misspoken?
Yeah.
And corrected himself?
When has he ever? Yeah. When has that ever happened in history? It hasn't. You can't do
it. You never misspeak.
No, Trump never has, according to himself. I mean, the fact that he backtracked at all indicates that I can't believe you buy that. There's a few you actually here. Wait, hold on. Let's pause everything.
Paused.
Let's put the show aside. We don't have to. We can continue arguing after this. But do you actually believe that he misspoke when he said that he didn't believe there was any reason to believe that Russia interfered with the election?
Yes, because he has been vocally outward that he feels the opposite. Before and after that.
How do you figure? At what point did Trump condemn the Russian?
Donald Trump on Twitter, July 15th, 2018. This is the wrong tweet. Okay, Donald Trump on Twitter, February 18th, 2018. So this was 3 months before. I never said Russia did not meddle in the election. I said it may be Russia, or China, or another country, or it may be a 400-pound genius sitting in a bed playing with his computer. The Russian hoax was that the Trump campaign colluded with Russia, and it never did. There's one example of him saying that it could have been Russia. I could pull up more if you need me to, but I think that one's enough.
So why did he say the opposite when he was with Putin?
Because he misspoke
at the press conference.
Okay, one of two things. Either he wanted Putin points by saying the right thing, or he misspoke. Those are the two options. I don't think he genuinely felt the way that he... I don't believe that he genuinely had that opinion at any point. I hope that answers your question.
I'm so disappointed right now.
Let's bring the podcast back in.
Okay, fine. Back to the podcast. We can continue arguing. I don't know how anyone could believe that Trump misspoke when he, according to his own vocalizations, has never misspoken in history. He has the best words, the largest words.
I have a follow-up question for you. I have a logical wall that I'm going to slam you into. Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
Here it comes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so President Trump says that he thinks Russia is meddling in the election 300 million bajillion times. Now he's put in front of the president of Russia, and he says the opposite of that one time. And then afterwards, after he's no longer in front of the president of Russia, he continues saying what he's been saying all along, that Russia colluded in the election. Including going back on what he said and saying, "Oh no, I didn't really mean that. I misspoke." So if he says this 300 bajillion times and then says it the other way one time and says, "Oopsie goops, I didn't mean to say that," what do you think he really means?
Here's my problem with that argument.
Okay. Is
that your argument doesn't hold up because you don't have 300,000 examples of Trump saying that Russia didn't or did get involved in our election, right?
Go on.
You the one example that you've given so far was him saying that it could have been anybody, including Russia, which is a slippery way of saying that he isn't saying anything at all. First of all, I would say I wouldn't call that condemning them at all.
Okay.
And I think if the more that you dig, like a lot of times, we're going to find out that he had actually been on the fence about whether or not they did anything wrong at all on purpose. Because like you said, there's only two options, right? Either he legit misspoke or he's trying to get some Putin points. And I think there's a lot more examples of him trying to get Putin points than him misspeaking.
Okay. So you think he was trying to get Putin points? Do you think he genuinely meant that Russia was not meddling?
Wait, ask that again. I lost you.
Okay. So Putin, you think he was either... Okay, let me ask this. Do you think that Donald Trump genuinely thinks that there was no Russian meddling in the election?
No.
So you think he knows that there was Russian meddling in the election, yes?
Right. And I'll quote him when he asked the Russians to find the other 30,000 emails in addition to the ones that they already found.
Uh-huh.
So he knows for sure that they did it in his head.
Say that again?
So he knows for sure that they meddled in the election in his head.
Yes.
And in his heart because he asked them to do it more.
Yes.
And if he's been about anything, it's about profiting for himself.
Donald Trump?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I would say that's a mainstay of his character personality.
I would say more for his party and what he believes the American citizen is. What was that?
Is this the last 4 years that you're talking about Trump, or are you talking about the whole life of himself, Trump?
Only when he was running for office and in office, not necessarily before.
Okay, so before he was in office, is that admissible evidence in this court here for me to prove that he mostly cares about profiting and benefiting himself over all else?
The date that he became a Republican candidate and after is admissible, or yeah. Am I saying that right? Is admissible allowed? Is it?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
admissible.
Yeah. That date and afterwards, but before that, no, I wouldn't say. Because
Objection.
before that, he was a Democrat.
Objection. What about his? This is a question of his character, not of his political stances. His character extends far past his elected time frame.
I mean,
like for example, if I wanted to call a character witness that had nothing to do with the robbery at 8th Street, you would not allow that. You wouldn't allow someone who knows the person that we're accusing to come in and say something.
Bring on your pre political Donald Trump evidence. I'm ready.
Okay, so I need to do more research and bring up these articles. Okay. One of us does, but there are for sure. I'll bet there are for sure examples of Donald Trump screwing over contractors that work for him in construction.
Okay.
Is everyone else familiar with what I'm talking about?
I think so. I think we talked about that a long time ago.
Yeah. And also the ways that he builds his buildings led to a lot of them collapsing, I want to say. Hasn't he had several buildings collapse?
That sounds scary. I don't know. Is he CEO of any of the companies that he owns?
I don't think so. I don't know.
So any of the construction companies that you're talking about that have poor results? I mean,
oh, you mean when this happened? Yeah.
Yeah. He was CEO of those companies?
I believe so. Let me check. Donald Trump began it. 1971, renamed it in 1973, handed it off to his children in 2017.
It's fading because of he's using his computer so much, so it's destroying his computer's processing speed. We'll work on that for next week, but for now, we apologize for these technical difficulties and appreciate your patience.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you need to be looking all this up, but I can't trust you.
I found this awesome website. Here, let me post this link in chat.
Okay.
It's TrumpTwitterArchive.com/archive. It's awesome. It has a searchable archive of every tweet that he's ever said, going back since he joined Twitter. He's tweeted 120 times using the word email.
Not 30,000?
No, 120. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, you mean I think I found the tweet you're talking about from July 27, 2016. So this was just after he'd been in office for a while. If Russia or any other country or person has Hillary Clinton's 33,000 illegally deleted emails, perhaps they should share them with the FBI.
No, it wasn't a tweet. It was something he said live.
Oh, okay. I've been looking for tweets of that. You don't think that supports your idea that he's, instead of condemning them, he's saying, okay, go ahead?
I think that is a great example of one of your defenses that falls apart, where it's like a sneaky roundabout way of not saying anything. You know what I mean? Because he definitely is not condemning anyone,
right?
But he's saying that, hey, whoever's doing it, I like it, which is my whole point, that his behavior in response to this happening is an impeachable offense. Prove me wrong.
Okay. Well, so while I do agree with you that that mentality and attitude and course of action is wrong and should not be how he runs his own office, I don't think that it is an impeachable offense, because He's not openly saying or openly getting involved in anything at all. So yes, I will agree with you that he is definitely skirting the lines. 100%. There's no doubt about that. However, that is not an impeachable offense.
Skirting the lines isn't an impeachable offense?
Of course not.
What about when it comes to treason? What if you're skirting around treason?
If you're okay, Alex, if there's a keep off the grass sign at the park, and I put my foot very close to that grass, but I don't put it on that grass, am I or am I not on that grass?
Follow up, counter question.
Okay.
Counter question. Me and you are standing when there's a sign that says keep off the grass.
Okay.
In this fantasy world. And there's a pile of money about 60 feet that way. And then you look over and all of a sudden I have half of that money by my feet. Okay. So I have half the money. And then I loudly speculate that whoever brought me this money should bring me more money. Am I part of the crime?
Okay. No.
I'm not part of it. I didn't do anything. I'm not saying that I don't know who did it, but whoever
did you
did
get on the grass, Alex?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I think that counts as getting on the grass.
Does it?
If somebody like, okay, so if I'm in control of whoever is going on the grass, or I'm in cahoots with whoever. Oh, I thought that word was going to come out of my mouth as colludes. Never mind. I fail.
Do you want to try that again?
So what word would you use for the way that I'm interacting with this person that is going somewhere they shouldn't go so I can profit from it?
I would say that you are being sneaky. I'd say that you're being a sneaky person. However, if you know nothing about it, no, I take that back. Not sneaky. You're not being sneaky. I think you're more like saying, "Oh, hey, this $30,000 ended up in my hand. I sure hope more of it ends up in my hand."
See,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
What?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. No.
What if I was standing next to you and I said, "Hey, there's a lot of grass that got hurt really badly when that happened," you know? And then you just still loudly speculate, "Oh, well, I wish it would happen more."
So you think there was a oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
There's a victim.
Okay.
Our democracy
is this is a threat to our democracy. Is what
absolutely.
You're saying.
Yeah. Okay. If a foreign power wants someone to win our election, and they've been historically, I would go as far as to say enemies. We still have nukes pointed at each other all the time.
Sure. The Cold War never ended.
Yeah. So we're still technically enemies with them. If one of our enemies has a choice in the matter, first of all, that's kind of sketchy in and of itself. Like, even if the only thing that you could accuse Putin of doing is going, "I want Trump to win," that's already a red flag. That might be impeachable in and of itself. Let's get an investigation going right now.
You think that Putin saying something is enough to impeach our president? Imagine giving him that much power.
Absolutely. I would hardcore yes. It's enough to launch an investigation.
That's not impeachment. Investigation and impeachment are two separate things. You investigate someone before you indict them.
Which is?
Indictment and impeachment are the same thing.
Is the same thing.
So you investigate them before you impeach them. So we already have an investigation, and we had one for 4 gosh darn years.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Alex, you're paying for that, by the way. Every time you see that every time you look at your paycheck and see that $100 to $200 from your income tax, that's going to the investigation on the president of the United States. You know that, right?
You know that argument that feeds my greed will never work on me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm trying to change the people There.
So our money is going towards ensuring that who we voted for gets elected. Yeah, or where do I write the check? to quote my friend Don.
Sure. Yeah.
Where
okay.
do I?
Fair enough.
Where do
fair
I
enough.
sign?
That's something you do support. Okay, that's fair.
Here's a good question for you. If I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you this.
I can't. Yeah, go ahead.
So the people in Congress exist to make the lives of Americans better, or make America more successful, or help people in the ways that they can by modifying and creating laws. True?
I think that the point of Congress is to have a battleground that goes between party lines so that you can actually figure stuff out and get things done.
Congress existed before the bipartisan era. There wasn't a bipartisan system when Congress was invented. Are you saying that's what it is now, though?
The purpose of American Congress?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's frequently been described as the cooling dish where extreme ideals of the executive branch and extreme ideals of the what's the third one? Not the judicial, because that is Congress, right?
No, judicial is the courts, like the Supreme Court and every other court.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's the place where no matter how extreme intense it gets, you're supposed to be able to sit down and actually hash stuff out and meet halfway on things. That's the purpose of Congress, I think.
Okay. So, however, so they're just supposed to do what exactly? They're supposed to be able to compromise when America can't decide on something for themselves?
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. I disagree. I think the Congress should be existing in order to make my life, your life, the people across the street's life, the people in Kentucky's life better. Or help maintain it without making it worse.
So, okay, just to clarify though, that is the actual purpose of Congress though.
What you're saying is?
Yeah. You're saying it should be different than the way that it is, right?
Not exactly. I think that if you are representing a congressional sector of your state in the House of Representatives, your main goal should be to further improve the lives of your constituents.
Your constituents, hell yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So, do you believe that the blue ones, the Democratic ones, do you believe that it is in the best interest of those counties to have the President of the United States be indicted on a crime and then potentially made go even farther and have them removed from office? Do you think that helps the constituents in any way, or even the American people as a whole?
Yes, I think so. In the long run, it does.
Okay. So you think the current standing president of the United States is causing more harm to those constituents than would be if he was not in office and instead it was given to Mike Pence?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I tend to believe that because of auxiliary to Trump, things that he allows to happen, not things that he colluded to make happen, but things that he does not condemn, are actively obfuscating important political issues in our country and making people more extremist and volatile and sometimes violent.
So you think Donald Trump is the catalyst for our divide in the nation?
No, I think the Russians are.
Okay.
And Trump is not
Trump is not doing anything about it, is what you're saying.
At very best case scenario, he's not doing anything about it.
Worst case, he's perpetuating it.
Worst case scenario, yeah. Worst case scenario, he's trying to do that.
Okay, then I mean, all your points are valid. unfortunately just melts down to an opinion. Is that a bad thing? Is that a terrible thing, or is it just a not so good thing? In my opinion, it's a not so good thing. In your opinion, it's a terrible thing. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, is it an impeachable thing? I don't know.
Well, I think that you're still trying to find out, is Donald Trump skirting over the line too far to where he can be impeached? Where I'm just asking, should he be, regardless of if he's done anything that can end up with him removing from office, should he be for the betterment of the American people? Yes or no?
Oh, you're gonna get me, but yes,
you think so?
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It's because of the way that he has attacked people with his words so frequently.
Oh, okay.
I think he's a bully.
So we don't want to bully as the president. You don't want to bully as the president.
And I don't want someone who mocks people with handicaps openly.
I see.
During his rallies to be the representative for our country.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Mm-hmm. So if I were to say, let's say, for instance, you don't, but if I made fun of you for having a hair lip, mm-hmm. and I'm making fun of Alex, I'm saying, hair lip Alex over there is stupid because he doesn't read Japanese comic books. Mm-hmm. So am I insulting just you, or am I insulting everybody who has a hair lip?
You're insulting everybody that has a hair lip and doesn't read comic books.
Okay, sure. Right. Sure. So Donald Trump insults specific people and also adds additional adjectives based off of their physical characteristics frequently. And I think that's unfortunate that he does that, but he does. And when I don't believe he will condemn someone or think someone is a lesser person just because they have those handicaps, based off of how my scopes or my opinions that I built off of the man. But he will make fun of you if you have those, and you are also someone who is outspoken towards him or the people that he supports.
So his line in the sand that he's drawn for who it's okay to make fun of and who it isn't okay to make fun of is across the board anyone who disagrees with him politically. It doesn't matter what they look like, right?
I wouldn't say disagrees with him. I think he could have a civil conversation. I think that is something he's capable of. However, I don't think, I can't think of any situation where he's the one who made fun of someone first. So, maybe not. I would say he always escalates it 100% of the time. But if someone just disagrees with him, then I don't think that he starts flying off the handle at that point.
So this is what gets me, is that in your personal life, mm-hmm. I know that you have an opinion where there's people that behave a certain way that is not logical and it's not helping the situation, and they mm-hmm. can't stop themselves because of their emotions, right?
Okay, sure.
So you as a person identify that. So for example, if anytime anyone disagreed with me or poked fun at me or attacked me, I made fun of their appearance, wouldn't you think of me differently?
I would think less of you, yeah.
Yeah. So why does Trump get a free pass on that?
He doesn't. I said the opposite. I think it's unfortunate that he does that, and I don't appreciate it. I sometimes laugh at it because it's funny, but
you still believe that he's fit to be the leader for our country.
Yes, because I don't think that's yes, I separate that. I don't think that
unless it's not Donald Trump, though. Because if I were that, but I'm good at, I don't know, a video game, you're not going to say, oh, well, he's great at video games, so I'm going to let all that other stuff pass.
Well, I mean, right? I won't get you fired from your video game job. I'll still hand you a controller.
So what if I'm playing video games with your nephew at my video game job and I really hurt his feelings and I make him feel like less than a person and it has nothing to do with how good I am at my job.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. That's when I stopped being a Trump supporter, was when I was trying to show examples of why people don't like Donald Trump to my nephew, and I actually couldn't show him the videos because they were so grotesque and mean. And I don't want him to see the president of our country acting that way.
Yeah, we talked about this early on in the days of Reviving Discourse. Mm-hmm. I remember this
way back in the day.
Yeah, and my opinion still stands. It's totally separate, entirely separate. In your ability to maintain foreign relations with other countries, as well as the other responsibilities that the president of the United States has no merit on the way that you are colloquial.
So you don't think that someone's relationships with other people is comparable to their relationships with other people?
Donald Trump has some of the best relationships. I think we've already been past this. His relationships and his ability to communicate are two separate things. While his communication skills leave some to be desired when it goes to certain situations. In the way he talks to people, I think it's super helpful when dealing with belligerent foreign nations. I could give you When's the last time you heard anything about North Korea, Alex?
It's been a while.
You remember the last thing? So we got a few tail end months of Donald Trump and the Kim Jong-un talking and having summits and yada yada so forth. Before that, he was making fun of the guy, calling him names, saying, do it, my button's bigger.
That's because he has all of the power. Yeah, he's a great negotiator when he's got someone tied up in the basement. This person tied up in the basement was screaming that they were going to murder everybody. They can't.
I mean, he could have done some damage. He could have absolutely gone out with a bang. He
could have hurt his own people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As a result, and he probably did. Don't you think that as a result of him being made fun of and being unable to do anything about it, knowing his character traits that we know, that probably didn't end well for a lot of people in his employ or in his nation, right?
I think that Donald Trump's actions towards the North Korean leader resulted in a positive outcome for the American people.
And the only tangible evidence of it is that now there's crimes quietly being committed as opposed to loudly.
In North Korea?
Yeah.
I mean, it was never about crimes in North Korea. It was about North Korea being aggressive towards Americans.
Wait a minute. So you don't even care that he doesn't mind that he's committing atrocities to people in his own country? You're
missing the point. The point is the American president is supposed to look into the best interests of the American people. America first, everybody else second in the president's job description.
Hard disagree.
Really?
Absolutely. You're an isolationist if you say that. Which is what all the presidents have warned us about.
You're misunderstanding. So not isolationist. I'm not saying don't help anybody. I'm saying help Americans first, worry about everybody else later. So if we lose one American for every 100,000 foreigners for any other country, North Korea, China, Russia, etc., so forth. If one American has to die to save 100 of them, then it's the president's job to make it so we don't lose that one American. It's not the president's job that we also don't lose the 100 other people.
So
if possible, that'd be a plus.
You disagree with every war in history that we participated in?
No.
That doesn't sound like
that's not at all what I'm saying. So I'm talking about specifically American civilians.
You're saying that our lives are worth more.
No. I'm saying that the president should think that our lives are worth more. The president of the United States should think that the lives of the American citizens are worth more than, let's say, a Australian nationalist.
Weighing life of other humans like that is like a trademark sociopathy symptom.
It's
not good.
So you remember how last time I said I'm not good at communicating things to you?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about because you're not getting what I'm saying. You're not picking up what I'm putting down.
I think that I am, and I think that this is really awkward because this will never. Okay, so let's think about this. I'm going to take it to the next level here. Do you think that there is things that are right and things that are wrong? There's good and bad in the world?
You've asked me this before. I'll say, based off of the way you think it is, I don't think so, because you're thinking of it more like, is there universal truth? And I don't think the universe cares. But we've had this conversation before.
I believe that if you actually think that the place you were born makes you worth more or less, then you are going to be held accountable for that.
Right. Here, let me put you in a situation personally, and I think I can get you to understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay, let's see.
Alex, I've hired you to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
I've given you a weapon that will kill other people in order to protect me. You are being supported, as well as your family and your extended family, for your entire life and your next generation of children in order to do this. So you have every incentive to make sure that I do not die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now there is an aggressor in front of you who is threatening my life and your livelihood directly. And it's your job to pull the trigger because my life in this situation is more important than their life. Do you pull the trigger and save my life?
Now, wait a minute. What is this an allegory for?
You'll see.
Because
in this allegory.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now let's up the ante.
That's not because you're paying me to do a job, though.
It's because that person is being an aggressor. Right.
Yes, it's because that person is being a bully.
Now, let's say you know that person doing it. Now let's give them some extra incentive. They are in the same boat as you, just the opposite. They have to kill me in order to get all these incentives. And if they fail, then their whole family and extended family, etc., dies. So, do you still pull that trigger?
Probably not. I would shoot you to save all them.
Okay. So that means that you went to a job in order to protect me and then decided my life is worth less than these other people's. My life and your livelihood is worth less than these other people's. So the president's job is the opposite of that. The president's job is to put the lives and livelihoods of Americans above all else in all situations. That's the short and sweet of the American president's job. There's more to that because there's a bunch of details about that, but that's their primary goal.
Where are you getting this?
Okay.
Who told you that it's the president's job to protect American people over other people? Why would we put people in Afghanistan? Why would we go to the Middle East in any capacity, risking our own people's lives to try to help people that want democracy? Why would we do that?
Oil.
Some presidents might believe that sacrifice to help other countries gain democracy is for the greater good.
Okay.
Now, if you put me in front of a grieving, widow, of course, I'm going to have a different opinion really quick.
Sure.
So I feel really bad about saying that out loud. But my philosophical point, I think, holds up.
So the point of being in Afghanistan was because there were Afghani terrorists that were threatening America.
What? No, we were trying to install democracy.
Okay. So we were trying to install democracy because they were a threat to America. They were specifically targeting American tourists in Afghanistan. Or mostly just any sort of Western person. So Europe as well. But the point is that it was so destabilized that the Afghani government couldn't do anything to protect those people, so we stepped in. because it was also in our best interest in order to protect American civilians. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then, yes, that's why we stepped in Afghanistan, because it was for our best interest. Okay.
Let me ask you this, though. If the president of the United States frequently mocks people for their appearance because of their political affiliation, and somebody sees this happening, but they aren't the cool, calculated two-sided coin that you seem to think that Donald Trump is, right?
Okay.
This person can't separate themselves, the bully side, from their real side and make a good calculated decision. This person drives their car into a group of protesters because they look different than them and because they have different political opinions than them. Would you, as the president, shoot yourself in the face to stop that from happening, to save American lives? Yes or no?
Okay. So let's unload that a bit. So the short answer is if we have all the facts and that's all there is, yes. But the long answer is me doing that going to, in the long run, better America or protect its citizens more so than me staying in office and continuing on? Is what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the answer is we don't have enough information because we can't tell. In if that were a bubble, and that was the end all be all, where we're saving those people, and if I don't do it, those people die, and that's the end of it, then yes. But then we have to live with the aftermath afterwards, and I think that's what's important in this situation.
What's the aftermath?
Now we got a dead president, and so we got.
Okay. Shocker. What about just stopping that behavior? If he's so smart, why wouldn't he just stop?
So you think it's Donald Trump's fault that car ran into those protesters?
Yeah, absolutely. If you think that it's the president, if you think it's Afghanistan's fault that terrorists want to hurt us, then I for sure think it's Trump's fault that his followers want to hurt people.
It's not Afghanistan's fault. It's not the people who live there. It's the terrorists who want to hurt us fault.
Okay, so where did these terrorists come from? It's the same argument, right?
Alex.
What? You said it.
These are people. These terrorists are people with their own worldviews and own methods and own existence.
So if you think that we could stop them by helping other people, don't you think Trump could stop those people by helping other people? I'm comparing the terrorist to the person that drove the car into the crowd.
So our method of stopping the terrorists was to go there and shoot them. Right?
I thought we installed democracy there.
Both. It's to shoot the terrorists and install democracy.
Now, hold on a second, because I think we're getting sidetracked here.
Okay.
American lives, according to, I have to agree with you this far, are more valuable to the president than foreign people's lives, right?
Right.
So if there is a threat to American lives, it's the president's duty to stop it, right?
It's not their duty to stop it. No, it's their duty to make the best effort in which that, if we're specifically talking about foreign relations, then yes, it is the president's duty to stop it. Yes. Or to put into effort serious motions in order to stop it. Yes.
So if there is a way that the president could stop a lot of people's behavior that would lead to American deaths, and he didn't do whatever it takes to achieve that, wouldn't that be the same as sacrificing American lives for other people?
Yes.
Like yourself?
But. And here's a big but to the he's gone. There's a big but. So you are under the impression that person did it because Donald Trump says mean things.
I'm saying that it's possible.
You're saying it's possible, sure.
Absolutely. I think that a lot of the tensity and extremists in our country feel safer in the presence of Donald Trump as president to come out and do mean things and say mean things and hurt people. I think that he promotes an environment where clearly you can get away with it now.
Saying mean things?
Yeah, or hurting people because they're different.
Physically hurting people?
No, they're interchangeable. Mentally hurting people and physically hurting people are both bad.
Okay. So saying mean things and then being held accountable for them is being more accepted, is what you're saying?
What? No.
So because the president says mean things, I might be more likely to say mean things, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Have I not been... So now we're getting into cultural things. So you're saying the president has modified our culture in such a way that now we say mean things more often.
Well, yeah, I'm saying it's like it's just like the Putin thing, right? Because Trump's not directly responsible for it, but he doesn't condemn it and gets away with it. So when this person drives their car into protesters, he's not directly responsible for it, but he doesn't condemn it and he gets away with it.
So here's what I will never agree with you on that. You remember last week when I said that I hold people accountable to the same standard that I hold myself to?
Yeah.
So I will never give myself the excuse that I'm doing it because the president does it, because I am my own person, just like Donald Trump is his own person. So if someone says something mean to me, I'm not going to blame the president. I'm going to blame the person that said something mean to me. The fact that you're blaming the president for someone saying something mean to you is asinine to me. Because in my opinion, it's baseless.
So you don't think that there's more people vocally supportive of isolationism and racism now than there was before?
Racism, definitely not. Isolationism, I don't know.
What about white nationalism?
No. I'd say, in fact, the opposite. I think anti-white nationalism is more outspoken now than ever.
I think that there's an entirely new movement taking place in our country that's based on separating us from them in a fundamental way, to where if you can desensitize yourself to the point where you don't think that someone hurting someone else on purpose is a bad thing, like how you think. That's what you were just telling me, right?
Say that again?
Okay, so if you believe that somebody saying something to hurt someone else on purpose because they have different opinions than them, you think that is not contagious, right? You don't think that it can promote an environment of it. You don't think it can manifest.
That's not what you just said.
More negativity.
You said that I don't think there's anything wrong with someone saying something that would hurt someone, which is
you don't, because you become desensitized to it.
No,
because
I haven't.
Of the president.
Not at all.
You're unaware of it. You don't comprehend it on a conscious level, but
that's not true at all.
Subconsciously you're affected.
When I see that somebody says something to me or somebody else that's just mean or rude, even in online video gaming. What do you
think about that person? What do you think about that person that says that to you?
I think that they are being... They're probably either A, in a bad mood, or B, entirely desensitized. Actually.
Oh, okay.
But not because of the president, because of the culture that is online video gaming, which is another conversation.
Now, why are these people that you immediately write them off when they talk like that?
Like, I don't hold them accountable?
No, like you don't take it to heart.
Oh,
You aren't insulted by them. Why?
because there's no face behind it. They are robots and they don't really exist.
Are you sure?
Yes, not because they're not really people, but because these are people that I will see once and then never again. I haven't heard their voice, I haven't seen their face, and I don't know anything about them.
What you were saying. Okay, now we're getting off on a tangent.
Uh-huh.
What about the thing you were saying earlier, where you were talking about the people that have emotional responses instead of logical responses? You think of them as less capable in their mind of comprehending things and solving problems, right?
I think so. I'm not sure what you're describing though, but I think so, if I'm understanding you correctly.
So if we are talking and I get upset with you, and instead of actually like using reason, I just shout at you and maybe throw something to intimidate you.
Uh-huh.
Is that comparable in any way, shape, or form to me calling you a name or insulting you?
Yes.
Okay. So if we can both accept that those things are comparable things, then what would you think about me in the office shouting and throwing something?
I would think it's incredibly unprofessional and there was no place for it.
And what would you think about the person insulting you on online video games?
I would think it's incredibly unfriendly and I would not want to associate with it.
So why is the only person in the world that gets a free pass the president of the United States?
Because, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Saying mean things as the president of the United States can sometimes be beneficial.
What about all the times that it's not, though?
Okay. So if
he was the smart guy like you claim, he'd be able to turn it off and aim it, right?
Uh-huh.
So I don't think that he's doing that, do you? Seems like he attacks whoever attacks him.
Okay. So I've been going under the assumption that this is Donald Trump actually attacks people for their appearance and whatnot, and I've just been taking it at face value that he's actually just attacking it that way. Could you, using that link I provided, which is awesome, by the way, could you type in with your fingers, any tweet that the president has said where he attacked a person for more than their character? I know it exists because I know he's done it before, but I'd like to take it into specific context, if we may.
For more than their character?
Yeah. So
like in the link in our chat, I can't click the one.
Just type in Trump Twitter archive, and you'll find it in Google. I can't. Here, I'll show you what happens if I type in our Discord. Oop, you're tiny now.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh.
You hear that?
No, or yes, but I'm looking at when I typed in email earlier and got the 120 Trump tweets. I just scrolled down all the way down to the most recent one, which was actually last week. No, 2 weeks ago. Still going on about the Clinton emails. It's a retweet, but excuse me. So.
There's a really good one that I can't find.
I have one where oh wait. Oh, where he called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas.
Oh well.
Is that a good example?
Yeah, we could use that one.
Okay, so when he's referring to her as Pocahontas, what do you think he means?
He's making fun of the fact that she claimed to be more Native American than she is.
Okay, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Did she do that?
Yeah.
Is what he's making fun of her for what's the word I'm looking for? Allowed.
Is what he's making fun of her for
it's like synonymous with allowed, but I can't think of the word.
Fair game? Like,
no, but that's pretty close. That's closer.
Socially acceptable?
I think accessible is good. Yeah, accessible is pretty good.
Is it? Okay. One more time for me, because I don't understand.
So is him making fun of her for claiming to be an Indian when she's really not? Is that okay to make fun of?
For a comedian?
So only specific people are allowed to make fun of specific
only specific people get to be the president.
Okay. So presidents are not allowed to make fun of people. The people who make fun of people are not allowed to be presidents, are what you're saying.
Well, here's the thing about the Pocahontas, first of all, is that it has nothing to do with any political disagreement that they have.
Sure. He's attacking her instead of her character. Yes.
He's attacking her character instead of her political stance.
Right? Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Is it?
So are you attacking his character?
When I say that he shouldn't make fun of people?
When you're saying he's a stupid dummy head for making fun of people. You never said that.
I'm saying that you said that, though. I'm just asking you why that doesn't happen in your head for him, but it happens in your head for everyone else.
Oh, okay. So why is... You're misunderstanding. It doesn't. It's not the same thing. Like I said, I wouldn't fire you from being a good video game player just because you call me the B word 3 times in a row.
What if I was using my platform to encourage other people on purpose or not to call other people B words?
If you were outspoken about it, maybe. If you actually stood up on your video game pedestal and said, "Hey, everybody, you could say these bad words because I do it and I'm cool."
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. But if you just did it and then people copied you, I don't think that's your responsibility.
So what about, for example, probably a good famous one, Alex Jones? He says that on his show, he says that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax, right? That it was fraudulent, right?
That's so stupid. Why would he say that?
But if he says that and then people who listen to his show go out and assault the family or the parents of people that they believe were allegedly killed in Sandy Hook.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that thing where they post their name, they post their name on the internet and have people drive by and throw things at them and send them threatening letters and things like that.
I think that those people should be held accountable for their actions. I don't think that Alex Jones should be accountable for other people's actions. I believe he can say whatever the heck he wants because he has a platform to do so that he's created himself.
This is my problem. My problem is you may be the exception to the rule of human life, that you don't have any subconscious thoughts that you're unaware of, right? But everyone else in the world for sure has unrelated thoughts and patterns in their head that they are not in control of and that can be manipulated by certain people. So if someone is using their power to knowingly manipulate people that are unaware that they're being manipulated, you don't think they should be held accountable for that?
So now you're saying that he's doing it on purpose.
Absolutely. He's trying to get his constituents riled up. He's trying to give them a common enemy. And whether or not they take it to a violent extreme, he doesn't seem to care, because there were bad people on both sides, right? Just like how he refused to condemn the white nationalists at that rally in the same way that he refused to condemn Putin on stage. It's establishing a pattern of behavior that is, at very best case scenario, negligent enough to get lots of people hurt. And if we're talking about value of life, like we were a little bit ago, he should be concerned that his American citizens, left or right leaning, are getting killed. And he should be concerned, in a smaller capacity, that Ukrainians got killed when the funds didn't come.
Let me give you a quote of a tweet. Okay. This is like my favorite website now. When we're talking about Donald Trump, because like I can immediately shut down any opinions that get thrown at me. Okay, the riots in Charlottesville a year ago. So this was posted August of 2018. Resulted in senseless death and division. We must come together as a nation. I condemn all types of racism and acts of violence. Peace to all Americans. Does that sound one-sided to you?
A year later?
Okay. So you want more recent? So he said it a year later and it doesn't matter. Okay. So then in that case, let me get you a more relevant one. Let's see. Charlottesville. Let's see. Okay, so he didn't actually tweet about much of it during the time, one way or the other, just saying that he was going to Charlottesville and he was going to do stuff about Charlottesville.
The bad people on both sides quote was from a live statement too.
Mm-hmm. So he actually tweeted specifically about that, talking about the quotes that he was talking about. Trying to see if I could find it, but it's hard. I can't use this website to find what exactly he talked about, but apparently what he's saying is that the media took half of what he said and then cut out the other half. So what you're saying is that he condemned one side but didn't do the other? It sounds like
he wouldn't condemn white nationalism.
That's what I'm saying. So he condemned one group but didn't condemn another, right?
He didn't condemn anyone. He said there was bad people on both sides. Right?
Was there not?
There was one. There might have been people plotting murder on the other side, but they didn't do it. I mean, this is kind of splitting hairs here. I wish I.
So it's not that he was unfair. It's that he was fair? Oh, I lost you. He's gone.
Did I lose you?
Are you back?
Yeah. Did I lose you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll turn your camera back on, I think.
Okay, it's back. Sorry, everyone. Whoa.
Go. What's up?
So let's talk about the tweets we wish we could find.
Well, we can't really. So what you're saying is that it's not that he was unfair, it's that he wasn't unfair. It's that he didn't condemn one of the aggressive sides, because you wanted him to condemn the side that had a name.
I want him to say that you can't hit someone with your car because they disagree with you politically.
And the fact that he didn't say that, not that he didn't say or not that he said that it's okay to do that. The fact that he didn't say that it was specifically not okay to do that is bad.
Yes.
His lack of action is bad, but he didn't actually do an action. So,
he drew a comparison between these two sides, saying that there were bad people on both sides, but one of the sides killed someone and the other one didn't. And the side that killed someone is largely a portion of his constituents. He's advancing his own agenda, which is a pattern that I'm trying to establish throughout this entire podcast, in a way that discounts other people's life and discounts other people's self-image and discounts whoever he needs to achieve his own goals. And I think that might be impeachable behavior, even if it's not technically illegal.
This is in Charlottesville, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So here is a tweet from the President of the United States. The Department of Justice is opening a civil rights investigation on the car attack in Charlottesville. Does that not sound like he is openly condemning it? The fact that he acknowledges that the Department of Justice, that he is a direct overseer.
This is all after the fact, though.
You wanted him to condemn it before it happened?
He needed to condemn it when it happened, and he didn't. That should be if you have to be coached to do that, are you fit to be president?
So did he actively not? Trump has been impeached. Is it official? Did it just happen?
No.
Is this true?
It's official.
No way.
Oh my God. Oh my God, it's live. People.
What?
Babe. What? Trump got impeached. No shit. Yeah.
What?
Well, now I feel kind of bad. I was just talking shit.
Yeah, it got majority vote. 225 voted yay versus 117 nay.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Tiffany! So, the President of the United States was just impeached. The President of the United States was just impeached. Yes, for the first time since Bill Clinton.
Brother, this is crazy.
Oh yeah.
We got it. We were broadcasting when it happened too.
Wow.
This is so sick.
Wow.
So now that it's official, has your opinion changed at all?
Oh no, I knew he was going to be impeached weeks ago. I knew it was going to happen.
What? You're lying. Yes. You said he would never get impeached because they don't have enough.
No. That was when I had a misunderstanding of what the word impeach meant. So I did not think he was going to be removed from power or office ever, and I still do not.
Oh. Because he's not gonna. What are they gonna do? Carry him out? He's
when
not.
They started doing impeachment proceedings and the Democrats got majority House. I knew it was gonna happen. Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay. I didn't know, so I'm surprised as hell.
225 out of 233 Democrats voted yay. Yes. So if that's not partisan, I don't know what is. All the Republicans said nay also.
Yeah, it's definitely a partisan issue.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with did he actually do it. It's my party says he did and my party says he didn't. Or what I think it's about. My party thinks that he shouldn't be impeached and my party thinks he should because I don't want him.
Yeah, that's all that we were arguing about the last half of this episode too, was just my emotional stance on why I think it should be not an actual crime being committed.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying there. So are you ready for the civil war that's going to break out? Yeah, because Trump's not going to leave office. I've been saying this since he started running.
He's not going to resign like Nixon did. No,
he's going to try to stay for 8 more years.
4.
No, you see what I'm getting at?
So you think he's going to overturn the Constitution?
Yes, the government is going to be overturned as best as he can to the best of his power because he won't give up his power.
No.
I truly believe that. I think that there's a precedent in almost every other country for a despot gaining power and then not giving it up and changing laws so that he doesn't have to give it up.
No, absolutely not. You know why that will never happen? Because in order
Why?
for that to happen, it has to go through the majority House of Democrats.
Just, it's so funny when people say that stuff like it matters when there's guns in your face.
You think the president of the United States is going to point guns in the House of Representatives in order to get his way?
I don't think they're not going to sit there and vote it out. He's gonna declare a state of emergency, probably deploy troops in Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, anything.
And
It's like you keep implying that he's going to play by the rules when he never has before, and in fact, that's what you liked most about him.
So who do you think is going to allow that to happen if he actually starts doing that? Who do you? Because he can't do it himself, right? He needs powerful people to help him, or like the United States military to help him, right?
Or a foreign power.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like tin hat conspiracy theory to me.
I just always want people to
this
think
just in.
about it being possible.
4 of the non-voted Democrats voted yay since we last counted.
Oh.
We're at 228 yays. What does PRES mean? It's yay, nay, press, and no, not voted. I don't know what press means. PRES. Someone help me.
I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, I was kind of being flippant when I talked about the Civil War inevitably breaking out. But I always like people to be aware that could happen, because it's every single country thinks that it's impossible until it happens. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason it won't happen in America is because we're armed. There's more guns in America than there are people. That's why it will never happen in America. In order to disarm the population, the military would need to do that. And the vast majority of the active service people in the military are Second Amendment rights activists. Or not activists, but supporters. So you're not going to see G.I. Joe come knocking at your door wanting to take your gun.
Well, what about a bloodless coup, though, that's not even up to the American people?
Like what?
Like for example, Trump, what's the thing that he can submit that doesn't have to go, an executive order, right?
Okay.
So there's an executive order that goes through that says that there's going to be Russian ships positioned off the coast of America.
Okay.
And obviously Congress says no.
Okay.
And then they're there anyway.
Okay.
What? You think that's impossible?
I think that would get him thrown out of office immediately.
How? He's the president.
Because that's high treason.
Yeah, you keep acting like rules matter to the man. It's so funny.
If
it's
high treason didn't get the American president out of office, then there would be a civil uprising.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, is he'll just keep breaking rule after rule until either the American people or the army have to like literally march to try to remove him.
No. He's stupid. I don't.
Yeah. Everyone, that's what I keep trying to tell you, Don. Not everyone is a super genius like you that's completely aware of their entire faculties all the time, no matter what.
All right. So does this not just sound like tin hat propaganda or tin hat crazy conspiracy theories to you?
I would like to point out every other democracy that has fallen in the history of the world.
Has any of those
despotic rule?
Oh, that was just the first article. Okay, never mind, Tiffany. It's not gone through yet. We have to get 2 votes.
The first article, is that the obstruction of Congress one, or is that the abuse of power one? Or am I even way off base?
Article 1.
That's abuse of power.
Article 1.
Abuse of power. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's the one we knew was going to stick, so that's not really that surprising.
So, yeah, he's been impeached then. He's been impeached for abuse of power, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the Senate has yet to vote. Okay. Jesus. I'm tired just thinking about all this.
Yeah, right? It's exhausting.
What?
The one independent person. Oh, Pelosi's talking.
Oh, great.
Present is one. What does that mean?
Presence?
Oh, no. The Republicans are mad. Dude, I'm watching this live.
Yeah. See? Don't you think they could be mad enough to just say no? And let's be honest. The Republicans are the ones with the guns. This isn't going to be Antifa bullshit. They're not going to be swinging bike locks at people.
Oh my gosh. Is this how Congress works? They're just talking over each other. They're just talking over each other. What the heck is this?
Oh my gosh.
Are you watching it?
No. Can you
Okay.
post me something maybe?
Hold on.
Lag out my whole screen.
I'm gonna see if I could do this real quick. Live.
This is wild, dude.
Hold on. Add.
This is wild.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Got this. I just need to trim it a little bit so it'll fit. Okay, and then filter, crop. Go to the left, like 300. Nope.
Crop. Sit down, sir.
Bottom 400. Oop, 350. Still too much. 300. Okay, that's good. And top, like 500. Oh, gosh, this is so annoying to do live. Okay, there we go. Okay,
at least we got practice.
Boom. This is the current.
Oh, sorry.
Here, no, I'll move you down.
Okay. All right, let me full screen this mug. What's going on in Congress, people?
Whoa. Okay, let's see. I could get sound for it too, I think.
Dude, this is wild.
Looking for my sound router. All right, this here. All right, this is going to just totally screw everything up, I'm sure, but here goes nothing. Say something, Alex. Oh, no. It ruined everything. Yep, I was right. Hold on. I can fix this. I can't hear you. Did it not even... What did I even do? Oh. Okay.
Hello?
Well, I couldn't figure out how to get sound to it in a timely fashion.
You heard it here first, folks.
Couldn't figure it out.
The President of the United States has been kind of impeached a bit.
I mean, full force impeach. Absolutely.
Wow.
Look at this. Every single one except for 3 voted yes.
Dang.
34 haven't voted yet because they're up walking around like monkeys. Look at them. They're just walking around.
Oh my gosh. That's so fun. I mean, like, we kind of knew it was going to be partisan the whole time. That's what they were talking about when we were listening to all these, is that they knew how they were going to vote. So all the hours they spent arguing with each other, trying to decide whether or not that could be allowed, was a waste of time, really.
Mm-hmm.
So abuse of power, that's something that we hadn't really talked about yet, I don't think. Like the
president
Ukraine.
Power.
Yeah, we talked about Russia, and we talked about my personal feelings about why I don't like him.
But about Ukraine?
Yeah, we never actually addressed that. And I just read the transcript. You've already read the transcript. I honestly, it's hard for me to see without all the context what is impeachable about that phone call.
Impeachable. You could indict someone off of anything if you get enough votes.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. It is kind of because from what I understand, and someone who's smarter than me, please correct me. There was a situation where everyone agreed that Ukraine was going to get help from us in the form and to the tune of money and guns for their war effort, right? So Trump gets on the phone, talks to the guy who's going to give help to, and says, "Yeah, but it would be great if you investigated Biden for me. That would be cool." And they got off the phone, and then the help didn't come when it was supposed to. And under the assumption that that was being withheld because he hadn't done his half of it yet. Ukraine, I mean. It's like it's one guy.
Yeah. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say that that's what happened because of that.
Mm-hmm. Sketchy though.
It's all about assumptions.
Yeah, that was my whole argument in the beginning was how it looks. It just doesn't look right. Even if he didn't do anything and he's just blundering about, and you should have a way to conduct yourself, I think, as a leader. I think that's a quality that all leaders, wouldn't you agree that's a quality that all leaders should have? Is the ability to, like, I don't know, conduct themselves in a professional manner?
I mean, to an extent. Does conducting yourself in a professional manner help America? Maybe. Not. Hard to say.
Yeah. Well, dang. That's wild.
Donald Trump was impeached.
All right, we did it. Our podcast has been fulfilled.
We did it, Reddit. We impeached the president.
Yeah. That was what we set out to do on Reviving Discourse.
No, it's not.
And we achieved it. No.
Just stop us in our tracks. We were arguing about something. I don't even remember what it was.
I think it's if trans people should be allowed to use the same bathrooms as us.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That always pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean,
say no more. Just leave that hanging there.
Yeah. So that impeached president. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. So yes, Article 2 also passed by.
It did?
Yeah. The time's over. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
Here, let me show you.
Deuce. But you know what's frustrating to me?
What's that?
Is that A, this isn't going to help their agenda like how they want it to, probably. And B, right?
And B, go on. Don't let me distract you.
You got distracted me. And B, we're going to forget. Even if you think that, yeah, this was the right thing to do, in a couple months, we're all going to forget what he did with Ukraine. We're all going to forget what he did with Russia. And we'll probably let a person who comes in next do a lot of the same stuff. And they might be quieter about it too. You know, which is a scary thought. Maybe Trump is just the most vocal and all the presidents do things like this all the time.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't think this situation is going to be the catalyst for change that it could be, is what worries me.
So you think nothing's going to happen because of this?
Yeah, I think
it's going to keep going the way it's been going.
Yeah, I think we had this dream, right, which is why we elected Trump, of draining the swamp and turning over the tables, and someone who doesn't play by the rules getting in there and doing the right thing for the people and not caring what anyone says. And think that it didn't pan out that way. Partly because that's impossible. We set up our government so no one can ever just do that. But,
Trump to Democrats. Merry Christmas. And by the way, you're subverting democracy.
Got him. I feel kind of weird.
Why? Because it finally happened.
The
4-year buildup is finally upon us.
I can't believe that they did it. But it's such a dumb. I don't like how they did it.
Why not? You don't like that they just did it because they had partisan, or they had partisan rule?
Well, it's just writing off. They kind of stapled they put all their eggs in one basket with this call to Ukraine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we're forgetting. It seems like our collective consciousness can't remember all of the things that he has done that we thought was bad. Like small things, just little stuff like I was talking about that I don't want to bring up again because you'll tell me that it's different between being a good person and a good president is different somehow. But
you think a not good person is incapable of being a good president?
I think not. Yeah. I mean, don't you?
Well, do you think a not good person is incapable of being a good anything?
Well,
do you think a not good person could be a good doctor or a good psychiatrist or a good dog walker?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I do. So you think someone who isn't a nice person,
skilled doctor, sure, but is he gonna put his own interests over the patient's interests? Is he gonna use his skills for good? That's a completely different question. Just because he's good at something, he can withhold it. He can only do it for certain people.
The doctor used his skills for evil. That's a funny thought.
Wow. Well, just like racist things or anything like that, doctors could be bad people and hurt people by not giving them the proper care or by writing them off as being like something that they're not. Have you ever had a doctor do that to you? Like they're not even listening. They're like, go take Tylenol.
Oh.
And then it turns out months later it was something really bad.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that's probably I understand doctors have bad days. That's a discussion that we've had on this before. But if you're not willing to see past your own emotions and do what's best for the person that that you've been employed to help, then I think that's a fundamental weakness.
Has Trump been mean to someone who being mean to them would be worse for the American people?
Well, this kind of feeds back into my other argument is that he sets a precedent, wink, wink,
nice,
for that kind of behavior. I mean, if people are under the impression that, like you said, the president's main interest should be helping American people, right? And they see a president that appears to be, based on their limited worldview, only interested in helping himself. What is the result that comes from that, do you think?
Why would someone become president in order to only better help themselves?
Why would someone become president?
Only to help themselves. In
because
what way?
Because it's much easier to help yourself when you're president. It's it's the most strategic option if all you care about is yourself to be the most powerful person in the world.
Well, I think Donald Trump was already a very powerful person to begin with before he was president. I don't think he needed any extra boost in order to. I don't think he was missing anything that he needed to be president to get for himself. Anything?
Oh, really? You serious?
Yeah.
You don't think there's more to be gained from being president than to being a failed real estate mogul?
You would describe pre-president Donald Trump as a failed real estate mogul. That's your description of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
He was down on his luck. He had met up against hard times. And then he finally got sick of it, decided, I'm not going to get kicked around anymore. I want to be president.
He's a billionaire.
He was not a billionaire. He was never a billionaire. He had billions of dollars worth of assets at some point. But that's like me saying I have billions of coins on my PKing account.
No, it's not.
I might have had that collectively at some point.
Your net worth is what decides if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, not the amount of dollars you have. If you have $1 billion worth of diamonds, you're a billionaire because it's not dollars worth. It's not physical dollars.
Somebody who's watching has to know what I'm talking about, right? Trump net worth 2011.
It's like 4.6 billion or something.
Let's see. Here we go. March 2005, just after the first season of The Apprentice, Forbes put Trump's worth at $2.6 billion. Oh.
Sounds billionaire to me.
He was a billionaire.
He still is.
Wait a minute.
Okay, waiting.
March. Wait a minute. 7 months later, October 2005, a book comes out. It says Trump is only worth about $150 million. He sued for defamation and lost. 2005 documents from the defamation suit revealed that as it was underwriting a $64 million loan to Trump to build in Chicago, Deutsche Bank estimated Trump's evaluated his net worth was $788 million. He disputed this number.
There's been a lot of discussion. Article 2 was just completed.
Oh man, another one.
Wow. Wait, they muted the microphone because they didn't want it. I wondered why it was so quiet. There was an uproar after the first one got through, but now there's just no audio. That's really funny.
Here's a good one. How about Chapter 11 bankruptcy? 4 times.
Oh my gosh.
Would that describe a failed business person?
Well, the house is everybody's going home now until 9 a.m. tomorrow, and that's the last we're doing.
Whoa.
Yep, that's what they do.
This is wild, dude.
Yep. Okay. So both articles passed, and they're going to be, I think, re-voted on tomorrow morning or something. It's weird. I don't understand how politics work.
Yeah.
We were talking about his net worth, though.
Yeah. I said, what about his bankruptcy? 4 times.
You mean his businesses going bankrupt, not him? There's a big difference there. Businesses fail, Alex.
So I described him as a failed businessman, and 4 of his businesses failed.
How many businesses did he have, Alex?
1? Wasn't he just a real estate mogul? He sold steaks on late night TV for a little bit. I hope that's doing okay.
Okay, hold on. Let's do a quick Google search of this real quick. Real quick. How many businesses has Donald Trump owned? The Trump Organization is a group of about 500 businesses in which Donald Trump is the sole principal or owner. Now, did you say 4? How much percent of 500 is 4? Is that less than 1?
Here's the thing about the 4 that failed, though.
Okay.
Is that these 4 businesses failed under nefarious circumstances, right?
Okay, sure.
So what bankruptcy, from what I understand, it wipes your debt away, right?
Not exactly. It abolishes a significant amount, but it doesn't get rid of all of it. No.
So here's what I understand about those 4 enterprises into real estate which failed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he hired contractors, didn't pay them, and then declared bankruptcy to get his debts cleared away. So as part of a plan. And he described this in his debates with Hillary Clinton as a strategy, right? You remember when he was debating Hillary? And she said, "You've been bankrupt, what, 4 times?" And he said, "I've made 4 business decisions." Yeah. Which sounds cool. It's a swag thing to say for sure. But
Sure.
what he's actually saying is that he kind of
gamed
the system. Okay.
You described Donald Trump as a failed business mogul. Does a person with 500 different business entities, where only 4 of those have gone bankrupt during his entire career, does that sound failed to you?
I'm trying to think of a hilarious, perfect example.
5. Okay.
Well, there's 500 of those 50 Shades of Grey books. I would still call that person a failed author.
Right. Okay, Alex. Let's say you get 500 PKs and then you die 4 times. Are you a failed PKer?
No,
you're not.
They're noobs. They're all noobs.
Well, now that you understand that Donald Trump is not a failed business mogul, in fact, he's a very stable genius.
He's a sketchy. That's another thing. We didn't even touch on his state of his mental health.
Oh, okay, actually, here, how about this? How many business owners that are alive today have been elected president and then subsequently impeached? Only 1.
Bro, this is just like his bankruptcy schemes. He's got a plan. He's getting impeached on purpose as part of his strategy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
He's playing them all like he's playing 7th dimensional chess.
IQ big brain. We didn't even talk about Trump's brain though. I wanted to talk. I have some great points about how his mental health could be reasons.
Hey, he passed the White House whatever test.
Yeah, he makes the test. He makes the laws. Oh, big dogs.
Just scared me.
Me too.
Those are my dogs though.
Wild, man. Oh man, that's so crazy.
Well, I think that's the end of the podcast. So we started talking about how Donald Trump should he or should he not be impeached, and we came to the conclusion that he has been impeached.
Yeah, you know what? I would love to flatter ourselves that we thought about how the decision would pan out and the timing and the votes, and we planned this episode based on that.
It was totally random.
We did not do that. It was totally
we didn't even know the hearings were today.
Yeah, that's kind of a gross oversight on our part, but
really
it looks really good on paper, especially if you quit watching
before we said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. And
yeah, thanks everybody. It really means a lot. I can't tell you how much it means to me.
I love it so much. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, Alex.
Bye, Don.